Hello and welcome to Centurion's Corner, and today we are going to be doing an upgrade custom, if you would like. So I've made this Captain Rex a long time ago. It's on the old buck of the bootleg model of the Clone Trooper, and it serves its time. You know, I was actually really proud when I actually made this one. I thought it was really nice. However, I've replaced his rangefinder about 30 times. I had one where it moved like that, and then in the end it snapped off, so I just kind of glued it at the top. That one snapped, and then I again put another one on the top, and now this one has snapped. But as I used to like scream and shout about how I used to like this body compared to the new body, I have since kind of come accustomed to this one. So we've upgraded Jesse, and I had to take his head off, unfortunately, or his helmet, to upgrade the ARC Trooper of Jesse. And I've had some of the Phase 1 ARC Troopers left over, so I thought, well, I'll give the helmet that I've taken off Jesse and give it to an ARC Trooper, so I've got a Phase 2 ARC Trooper to customise at a later date. So I've taken off this helmet here, and I thought I'll upgrade finally a decent Phase 1 Captain Rex. So I've gone away and I thought, great, I can have a removable helmet as well, and we can place that on there. So on here, this is actually a original Captain Rex head that I've had, because I actually bought two, and I don't know if you remember, way back when I used to have a Guinea Rex, which is what I used to call him, and he used to be on my sort of like customizing paint to see how it applies to that figure, and it done itself justice over time. But I since then painted the head, so I'm going to have to try and remove the paint. Good thing is I didn't seal it, so it's easy to be removed, and what I'll do, I'll be using the acetone to take off that paint, and the acetone to take off this line here in the middle, and mainly over his legs as well. We've actually got the stripes and stuff on there because he's quite simplistic, so I just got acetone off the red as well on the helmet. So it's going to be quite an easy custom. I'll probably take off these bits on here as well, and we'll see what we can do with this Captain Rex at a later date. But yeah, this is what this video is going to be, is a new upgrade of Phase 1 Captain Rex. So I guess without further ado, let's crack on with it. So first of all, we're going to have to remove all the paint that's on the actual figure. This is a very lengthy process, and we're using acetone here and Q-tips, and you will need a lot of Q-tips. Just make sure you have a lot of backup, because if you keep using that same one, you're going to keep smearing that paint all over the figure. So as soon as it starts getting a little bit of paint on there, grab a new one, put more acetone on it, and another one. It can damage your figure if you leave that acetone on there too much. So when you do it, then go and wash it off. So while I'm taking more paint off, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ding that bell so you get notifications, so you get more videos of upgrades, reviews, shorts, or whatever else I will bring out. So here I'm just using flat blue for the helmet itself. A little bit later on I do actually add a little bit of white to the flat blue to brighten it up, as it does look a little bit too dark. So as you know, I don't use water decals or anything like that. Everything is hand painted, and yeah, these eyes literally took me a while. So trial and error is definitely the key here. Just be patient. What I do once I've done it and it's not right or accurate, I go away, let it dry a little bit, and then use acetone to take it back off to reapply it. Rewash that area as well, because if you're applying over the top of acetone, you know what's going to happen to that paint. So again, be very patient. Once I actually got the right hand side, I'm always better like drawing on the right than it is drawing on the left. So how I done it in the end was, once I've got that right side completed, I kind of used like a dotting system on the left hand side to make sure where the peak was and where the bottoms were, and then just joined the arrows or the actual shape to each dot. Just using the blue for his hands and his knees as well. And then using gloss black for his visor. Using dark sea grey here for his mohawk. And then using flat black for his communicator at the front of the helmet and his brow. On the side of his helmet, I think it's more of a reminiscence here to Boba Fett. He's actually got 3 little rectangles of yellow, using flat yellow here from Tamira, just to add those. Now just upgrading the pauldron from the original time I painted it, just finishing it off, making it look a little bit nicer. Using the dark sea grey once again and finishing it off with the blue that I've been using throughout the figure. Even though the actual head fits on the peg, it fits a little bit too high, unfortunately. So I need to Dremel in a little bit further down so we can actually situate that head a little bit lower down towards his neck part as well. Also, with the actual neck joint, it's a little bit too thin. So it actually fits around on the ball joint, but you can't actually push it straight on. So I'll need to open it up so I can actually put some hot glue into it. So before attaching the head, I'm just going to add his pauldron onto his shoulders with a little bit of glue. So using Vaseline here or petroleum jelly, you can put it around on the ball joint. What happens here with the hot glue, once it's inside that head, it's not actually going to stick to the actual ball joint because it's got that Vaseline on there. So now I'm just grabbing a bit of card. I kind of need a stencil to make his karma. So I'm just measuring it up to the ARC Troopers here. It's about 5 centimeters in length and about 3.5 centimeters in width here. Once I cut that out, I've actually got a nice stencil, and then using my knife, making it nice and sharp, going around cutting it out of the fake leather leggings. Once these are cut out, what I've done is kind of like cornered off one of the corners, made it a bit more rounder, and then using the blue paint that I've been using and putting it around on the outside of the karma. Now to attach it, I'm just applying a little bit of glue around to the actual top of the figure's belt. I've actually pushed the belt up and done it to the line of the armour using a toothpick, so I can really push it into place so my fingers are not going to get stuck, even though using super glue is bound to happen. So just be careful and be patient. So now just applying the actual holsters with a little bit of ribbon here. I'm just sticking it to it. So again, using super glue, so be careful not to stick it to your fingers. Let it dry. Once it's done, I just dabbed it onto the side of the belt, onto the actual karma, and glued it on using the cocktail stick just to push it on there without using my fingers. Next up for his hair, I'm just using neat buff here from the actual pot. I do add a little bit of water just to get a nice bit of coverage over the top of it so the actual paint falls into the indentations of his hair sculpt. Using the X-Acto knife down to his index finger there just to give him a trigger finger on his left hand side. So here I'm just finishing off the figure with a little bit of weathering. I'm using dry brush now. I don't really use the wet wash anymore, and I can just pull it around on certain areas, and then I use the Gundam marker using those little black lines and dents just to put over the figure and the helmet. So here he is, all ready to join his brothers on the shelf, and actually I'm quite surprised how this one turned out. I was really kind of apprehensive as I started it. There was a lot of acetone going on. I had a few boo-boos and errors, and even trying to get this up here identical was very hard to do so, but he's finished and he does look the bee's knees, to be honest with you, and I'm quite happy how he's turned out. So what have we used here? Well, mainly was actually the flat blue, which is the F8 on this one. I tried actually just using it straight from the pot, but however I did actually use some extra white on here. I actually put this in here because the ammo mig, you can actually just squeeze it out of the bottle, so it's a lot easier to mix because you can just sort of like drop as many droplets as you want, and I put about one in there to just brighten it up. I did actually do the flat blue and it just looked too dark, so I added just a little bit of white, and it's actually quite worked on there. I did try a few extra sort of like blues and stuff as well, a lot of different kind of using the flat white here and this blue and trying to put them together, but it just kind of come out a bit more grayer than it did actually on the blue light part. I really need to concentrate on how to really kind of like combine paints together, because unfortunately Tamira, even though it does quite a lot of colors, sometimes with blues and stuff like that, there seems to be, it's either really bright or really dark. There doesn't seem to be a sort of like an intermedium there. So we used a flat blue for that. I used flat white here. I just thought I'd put it on here because I didn't really show it off on the tutorial. But sometimes I've kind of, I've done a bit of acetone and I couldn't get to certain areas, or maybe wanted to straighten up certain little bits. I just used a tiny little bit of this XF2 just to neaten up some edges, or where there was some colour bleed and stuff like that, just to straighten that up. We used the dark sea grey up here, and that's actually for his mohawk and as well on his pauldron. And then we have used flat yellow XF3, and that's for those 3 little dots on the side of his head. I guess like Boba Fett kind of sort of stylized. Flat black here, and that's for his brow and the little comms chip at the front there, and I put a little bit of black on there because I spilt some blue, and also use black. So this is X1. This is actually the gloss black from Tamira, or Tamia, or whatever you want to pronounce it, and this bit was for his visor on the inside there. And then lo and behold, I have used buff, or used on the channel quite a few times, XF57, and that was mainly for his hair. I actually used this on Ben Riley as well, with a little bit of yellow to put it in there to make it a bit more blonder, but he kind of seems to have like a buzz cut kind of bleach hair, so the actual buff looked quite well on it. So this is the nail varnish remover that I always use as well, so I always want to say this. So using that acetone on there, just make sure you read the ingredients, because you can get nail varnish remover without acetone, but the acetone is just there in that ingredients part. So as long as it's got that, you'll be fine to actually sort of like strip it off onto the actual figure itself. But just be warned, you will be going through a lot of cotton buds. I even had to go out and get an extra set here, and yeah, it does take a long time, but just patience and then keep wiping it up. Anyway, to finish it off as well, I used the Tamiya colour. So this is a flat clear. This is the TS80 flat clear. It's the only place that it says it on the tin. On the tin, it just says spray paint and for plastics and stuff around on there. So around on the back here, this is where you want to look. TS80 flat clear. And it gives that nice kind of like, gets rid of that sort of shine. Really gives that kind of like the colours kind of continuous kind of color throughout as well, so it doesn't look too blotchy or shiny in certain areas. But yeah, I'm loving how he's come out. It looks really good here. Obviously we took some time to get in that kind of symmetrical of the Jaeger eyes, or I can't remember what they're called there, but yeah, I'm kind of happy how they turned out. We've got those yellow little marks there on the side, those little 3 little marks there. Obviously, now we have a rangefinder that moves. We have the removable head, or helmet, shall I say, with the head inside there. Looking pretty cool. Still got a little bit of the black coming around through the actual hair on there, but I'm okay with that. You know, it gives off a little bit of depth to the actual colour. And then the back of the helmet as well, where it's all scuffed up, and we've done a bit of a black, kind of a dry brush over the top. I don't really do the sort of black wash anymore. I just kind of like it. I can be more stylized with it, and it just gives off a little bit more shadow than it is sort of like looking it look completely just mess. It's just a little bit more stylized, a bit like the Clone Wars actually cartoon, because I think like they always had that, just a little bit of dirt but not too much. Around on the sides, these are the original colours of the Jesse figure, and I added the extra blue down the bottom there. It's not too bad colour match what we've done here, and we've added it on that side as well. And then we added the extra blue lines just on his knee pads. We've added his Karma, skirt, whatever you want to call it, this part around on here. So we've got the extra little blue line. I probably could have lightened this blue because I just used a flat blue straight from the pot on that one, but it looks fine. I did actually do this one in the flat blue up the top there, and I didn't want to go over it again just in case I buggered them up, so they're actually in flat blue as well, but I've added the extra blue and white on his helmet parts just to line it up. But yeah, I'm really happy how he's turned out. And then obviously we've got his dual pistols, cut that finger to give him an extra trigger finger on that side, and then we've got his holsters as well, which I've borrowed off the original, but we obviously had to make a new one as well of these, purely for the fact it didn't go to plan when I took the original ones off. But yeah, I'm loving how he's turned out. It looks really cool. He's up to date with the others. This ain't going to snap off anytime soon, and he's looking pretty cool. So we can just put him here. Let's move that a little bit further back there. I can put him here, and then also we have got Captain Rex in his phase 2, and I know the pauldron on this one isn't accurate. I know it's not accurate to the actual show at all, but I kind of like it because I'm really upset that I used to have 2 of these figures, and I really completely annihilated it now. But it's all going to plan. It's all gone to sort of good places, all the other parts on there. So now we have 2 Captain Rexes in both phases, and I haven't got the Bad Batch one, but then I really didn't like that at all. And this was the original. This is all what's left of him now. So I will be turning him into a grunt at a certain time to go with the other grunts of the phase ones that I got left. So maybe Bullseye or something like that. Let me know down below which ones what you prefer. If you want to see a short of all the phase ones I've done, there's actually one on the channel as well, so you don't have to sort of like ask which ones I have done on there. So this is now, this phase 1 helmet has gone to this guy, and then this is the Jesse helmet I've got left. So I have this custom here to make up one on there. So also comment down below what you'd like to see of this one. I'm thinking maybe from the Rancor squad or something like that, maybe Blitz or something like that. Let me know in those comments down below. And yeah, follow me on Instagram. You can subscribe, you can ding that bell, you can join the channel for 99p or 99 cents for wherever you're from. And until next time, take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye.